Hi everyone, David Maley here, and today what I want to show you is how to do percent totals in Alteryx. So this is Alteryx. We can do this in Excel, we can do it in different programs. I want to show you here because you can make it as a piece of a bunch of different processes, and it can automate your tasks and make them really easy. So what I want to show you here is I'm starting off with this data called spa skincare sales, okay? And it has UPC numbers, the UPC description, and the item count of what is sold monthly by product. So these are all skincare, different serums and masks and different things like that that an esthetician would use in a spa or a similar health setting. So you can apply this to anything. It doesn't have to be this. So I could have this as Domino's Pizza. I could have this as Harris Teeter's products. I could have this as Lowe's wood products or anything I want, okay? But the technique is the same. The process is the same. So you start off with this. I need to have UPC numbers. You know, what's the product numbers, what's the item numbers, whatever it is that goes in this field. This column, the description of what it is, and then the count, what was sold on a monthly basis. I could also have it daily, weekly, whatever. I'm bi-weekly. It doesn't matter. So we start off with an input field that brings that in. It's in an Excel file, so and you can see it right here. It just brings it in. And then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that file, I'm going to split it into two parts. So I have item count for each row, but I don't have a total. So what I have is I have two summations right here, two of these summarize fields. And this first app right here, what I'm doing is I'm just bringing in the item count, okay, which is this one right here. It automatically will highlight the first one, but I want this one right here, the item count. It could also be called UPC count, whatever you want to call it. And what I'm doing is for that item count, I'm summarizing it. I'm not grouping by it, I'm summarizing by it. So that's this one, and that's going to give me the total count because I'm only bringing that one field in, so it's only going to give me the total for all the items. Then above it, I have this summarization or summarize app, which is going to give me, I've got UPC number, UPC description, both those are grouped by, okay, because they're not numeric fields that I'm going to summarize. And then I have item count, which I want to summarize. So I want to summarize that. And the reason why I do it this way is if I have in this original input, if I have multiple instances of the same UPC number, that could happen. This will take care of that and put it together, okay? Now, if I have the same UPC with two different UPC descriptions, that could mess this thing up. So you want to make sure that you have a UPC number and a UPC description that are, the same for that one row. You don't want to have multiple UPC descriptions for the same UPC number and vice versa. You don't want to have the opposite of that. So once you have this, then what we have is we have two different things here. First, I want to create this other summarization here, which is off of this, which is going to give me my total. So all I've got is, instead of the other one where I had this with this summarization of the item count, this one what I'm doing is I'm doing the UPC numbers, or my product numbers. I'm doing a group by of that. That's it. And what that'll give me when I run this is it'll give me the total number of UPCs that I have. This could be a huge number. It could be 10,000. Depends on the type of company you have and the data you're looking at. But regardless, in this case, it gives me a check, and I'll show you how I'm going to use that later. So I know that I need to have 17 rows, 17 records, because I have 17 different UPCs. Okay. Next, we got this little thing right here called Append Fields. This is up here in the joins. It's the very first one right here. I'm not using these right now. I'm just using this Append Fields. And when you use the Append Fields, you bring in two different areas right here. So I'm going to bring in the total and the sum. So this is the total of everything here. So I want to have each row and its UPC number, UPC description, and item count. That goes into the top. And then this one here, I'm bringing in the sum as the total, but it's the sum of item count, and this goes in right here at the bottom. Okay, so when you click on this, you can see the fields I'm bringing through. Okay, and it really has, it's really called a target and a source. So our target is going to be coming from here. Okay, we've got these three fields come from the target, right? And then we've got the source, which is this bottom one, which is the total right here. Okay, make sure that your types are correct based on the data you're bringing in. The UPC number doesn't have to be a double. It could be a variable or var string or something like that. Variable string, we could do that, but we don't need to. So we have it here, and then from here, what we do is we want to bring it over here into this, and I want to go and I want to, now that I have it together, I want to have a calculation. So I'm going to calculate the percentage totals, and the way I'm going to do it is sum of items count, which is the sum coming out of this, divided by the total times 100. Okay, so what that'll do is it'll give me the percentage on each row, each line. And then what I want to do here is I want to change the percent total to a double because it's not here, and by doing that I can see the fields better. Okay, so if I go here, this is not a double, this is a double. And then in the end, I just have another summarize app here that I've selected because maybe I want to have just UPC number, UPC description, and some percent of total. And I could rename this if I wanted to percent total or whatever. But this is your percentages, and I can go down through this list, and it gives me all of them. Okay, so if we go back, let me show you. I've already run this, so you can see the numbers. Here's the start. Okay, here is our UPC number, our UPC description, and our item count. Okay, and it gives it for each row. Okay, and we do have 17 rows in this case. We don't have to. We could have a lot more rows in it and run this through. Then when I get to here, I can see, by looking at this, I can see right here that I have the UPC number, UPC description, and the sum item count, just like I selected. I can see here that I have this. This 187.2 is the total of all of the item count for every row total together. Then I go into our Append Fields, and I've got this, and this is my output right here at this point. You can always click on the little arrow right here to see the outputs for each of the at each step, which is something really neat that you can do in Alteryx. And so I've got here my UPC number, my UPC description, and my sum item count. Okay, these come from, they're the targets. They come from here. The last one, the total, comes from here. So now I have appended it, but I didn't append it as a row. I appended it as a column. See that? So I now have this extra column. That's what this box right here does for appending fields. Okay, so if you go back into here and click on, let's click here, let's click here. Okay, I have options that I can do here, and I can change this. I can change the workflow. I can do all kinds of things to it. So what I want to do is I want to append the column, and here it is here. Okay, and then what I want to do is this. So remember, we did this formula right here, sum item count divided by the total times 100. And if I click right here, or just looking down here in the bottom screen, you can see I've got UPC number, UPC description, sum of the item count, okay, for each row, and the total. So that's going to be the same for each of these because it's the total of all these items right here. And then the percent total is figured off of this simple formula right here, off of these two rows. Okay. Then I've got this right here, which what that's going to do is it just changes the percent total, so I've got less decimals. Easier to read. You can always take this in Excel and do this part here too. But this is what I'm doing right here. So I know this is 1.39% basically. This is 9.72%, and so on down the row. And then I have chosen to use this summarize again at the end. And what I'm doing right here is I'm saying, okay, I don't need all of the rows from this. I don't need to see these two anymore because I already have the percent total. I know what it is. It's reliable. It's accurate. So what I want is I just want UPC number. See it right here, group by, UPC description, group by, and then the percent total, I'm going to summarize it. It automatically puts sum as the name of it here, and then you can rename it if you want. You can change it right here. I could change it, but just by clicking this output field name, I can bring this way, and I could say, okay, instead of some percent, I know it's some percent of total, but it's kind of ugly looking, so let's just put percent total. So by doing that, let's go here. Now you'll still see this because I didn't run it yet, right? So it's still going to show the same until I run it. Now if I click on the run, it takes basically a fraction of a second. I've only got 17 rows to this, so it's not going to take long at all. If you had 10,000 rows, something like that, it might take a minute or so to run. And then it depends on how many rows of data and how many columns are in those rows. But regardless, Click over here, and there we are. Okay, now it says percent total. Got UPC number, UPC description, and the percent total for each column. That's all you have to do. It's very quick and easy. And the cool thing with this is I can take this and I could copy this. I could go like this and say I want this. Maybe I'm going to change the input. So I'm going to take this piece right here, and by clicking on that, it highlights all of these apps right here. And then I can just right click on it and say copy. And I could take this to another application. I could open up and create a new one. And that's what's neat in Alteryx. You can make many different processes, and you can put them all together like little pieces of a puzzle and create a much bigger process. So maybe I have a process that goes and reads some data from multiple different locations, brings it in, then I have to go and do some exploratory data analysis on it, cleansing the data, and then once I get to that stage, and then maybe I bring this in and do some percent totals. Maybe this is a precursor to something else. Maybe I need those percent totals for some graphs I'm going to do in Tableau or something else. This is a wonderful way to do a complete little process that really just gets your percent totals really quick. So, and then you can easily hook it into anything else you want in Alteryx. I could go and decide from this to go and do all kinds of different analysis or punch in some other data sets. Regardless, this was what I was trying to do, was just end up with a percent total here. It's very simple and easy. And again, the data I brought in could have been anything. In this case, it's just spa, skincare, sales items data. And you can see it right there. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful and interesting. Please like and subscribe, and that way you can see all the great videos I have on my channel, and you'll be notified of when the new ones come out. I'm going to cover all kinds of stuff that we use in data science.